Hi, welcome back to First Aid with Jay, and today we'll be talking about the importance of the circulatory system in first aid. So the circulatory system is the system that deals with blood in the heart and how blood is pumped throughout the body and how that blood carries oxygen and nutrients to the cells in our bodies. Okay, so basically the heart is responsible for pumping all the blood, if you didn't know. And it does its job by compressing and decompressing, which will move the blood through it, and it sends the blood through the lungs to collect new oxygen, and then that oxygen rich blood is sent through the body and pushes out the oxygen deficient blood, which actually isn't red anymore. It'll turn darker colors like blue or purple. And so this is when knowing the different types of blood vessels comes in handy. So first of all, we have arteries, and arteries are the blood vessels that the blood actually goes, that the heart pumps the blood through. It'll go through those arteries out to our body's blood system. And then veins are the pathways that the blood takes to get back to the heart and get more oxygen again. And so the blood in arteries is oxygen rich, and the blood in veins is oxygen poor. And then there's also capillaries, and the capillaries are the individual tiny little strands that carry blood to individual cells and tissues. They're very small and they have very low pressure, whereas arteries and veins can be a lot bigger and have a lot higher pressure. So this part of first aid is important because you need to know a lot of times if someone has a cut, wound, or a scrape, what kind of artery, vein, or capillary they hit. So you can usually assess it by the location, first of all, and then the reaction of the blood. So first of all, location. If you get cut on your wrist, odds are you hit something serious. Whereas if you get a little nick like on your arm somewhere that's not very big and it's not, basically you know that's probably just a capillary and that's not going to be a big deal, and that you can treat pretty easily. However, if it's bleeding a lot more, then that's more serious. So arteries, if you cut them, you'll know it's an artery because it'll be splurting blood flow, and it'll have like a pulsing pattern, almost like the heart is, like the blood will come out in pulses. And it'll be very, very bright red just because that blood is oxygen rich. Then you have your veins, which have steady dark flow, and they have dark red color. And that dark red color is because they're oxygen deficient. And then you have your capillaries, which I basically went over earlier, small, even flow. The veins have a little more steady flow than the arteries do. The arteries are like pulsating blood, and that's when it's really important to make sure that it's taken care of. So, and then I think it's important for you to know your types of wounds. It's just when people say this, or you can tell a first aid, you can tell like someone on 911 or a medical professional like what the actual problem is. You can say a laceration, and that's the tearing of the skin off the tissue, so it's been kind of torn off, you know. And then there's contusions, which it's a bruise. So basically there's bruising under the skin, and blood's been released from the tissue. There's an abrasion, so it's like a graze. So you grazed off, you lost a superficial layer of skin, which is pretty much like if you scraped your knee or something. There's an incision, which is like a straight, clean cut wound. It's like you think of a knife that went like this. And there's a puncture, which can be caused by a sharp object like, let's say, a rock or something sharp, and it goes through you and it's embedded. And that's how you know if it's a puncture. And basically those are the types of wounds you need to know, and just a little about the circulatory system and how it's important in first aid. So thanks for tuning in. See you guys next time.